developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The FBI says DNA from an unknown male has been recovered from a glove.
Recently surfaced footage is forcing investigators and the public alike to reconsider long-held assumptions about that fateful night.
Host Savannah Guthrie speaking directly to her mother's captor, pleading for her return.
It's 10 minutes. That's all it took. A Facebook post went live claiming police had surrounded the home of Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law. Squad cars, back door left open, traces of blood. Detectives no longer looking for an outsider. And just like that, the investigation into an 84-year-old missing woman took a dramatic turn, at least online. The name at the center? Tommaso Cioni, married to Savannah Guthrie's sister. A private man suddenly thrust into a public storm. But here's the problem.
Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of NBC Today anchor Savannah Guthrie, was apparently abducted from her Tucson area home.
They could turn over to deputies, and of course they found this backpack here. We're looking at images that were put up on Getty Images.
There is a major development in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie.
According to investigators, none of it was true. No blockade, no confirmed blood evidence, no announcement shifting focus to the family. So how did the narrative flip overnight? And more importantly, why did so many people believe it? Tonight, we examine the moment the Nancy Guthrie case faced a different kind of turning point. Not from DNA, not from surveillance footage, but from misinformation. Because sometimes, in a missing persons case, the most dangerous suspect isn't a person. It's a rumor.
Authorities in Arizona say the DNA submitted for FBI testing in the search for Nancy Guthrie, who has not been seen all month, did not come back with any matches.
They had recovered 16 gloves in total. One of them, found about 2 miles away, matched the one that was seen on that doorbell camera.
Good morning, I'm Diana Macedo. We're coming on the air with a major development in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie
was able to detect an individual, an intruder, inside the house, and that's the window when police believe Nancy Guthrie was taken, Diane.
Who was Nancy Guthrie? Before the speculation, before the viral headlines, before strangers dissected her family tree, there was Nancy. Nancy Guthrie was 84 years old, described by friends as steady, thoughtful, and deeply connected to her faith community. She lived quietly in the Tucson area of Arizona, following routines that had defined her life for decades. Sunday virtual church, morning coffee, evening phone calls.
Of what we're seeing. Also, it's hard to make out, is this a man? Is this a woman? Anything more about that. But you can see the eyes, you can see a little bit of the mouth.
Tried to support her, and they're also invested in finding Nancy at this point, that they've really been so supportive. He wanted to
Did he offer any sort of insights as to what her future might look like? Or do you know if the network has even broached that topic with her yet about
confirmation? Remember, there were those 2 surveillance photos which you just had on your screen. The one where he has the backpack on.
She was the mother of Savannah Guthrie, a co-anchor of NBC's Today Show. But by all accounts, Nancy herself avoided the spotlight. Her life was structured, predictable, and that predictability matters because when Nancy failed to show up for her scheduled virtual church gathering on February 1st, 2026, something immediately felt wrong. Friends tried calling, no answer. By noon, she was reported missing, and what began as a welfare check quickly transformed into a national investigation. But no one expected the case to spiral the way it did.
Potentially days before, and also whoever the source of this information is, are they convinced that this is the same person, or is this another suspect, given the FBI has said that there are suspects they believe are involved here?
Main takeaway on this story right now, what would the FBI be looking at right now?
Peripheral associations. That is legal language. But translated, it means the circle just grew larger. And that is where the narrative becomes uncomfortable.
Then it's a kidnapping. If they ask for a ransom, then that would qualify as a kidnapping. Otherwise, it would be an abduction. And other motives could be revenge, some kind of personal ideology.
January 31st, evening, Nancy is last seen. No reported distress, no emergency calls, just a normal night. February 1st, 1:47 a.m. According to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, Nancy's Google Nest doorbell camera was disconnected. That detail would later become critical. Investigators believe the majority of recovered images are from February 1st because they show the doorbell being tampered with.
So today is day 13 of the Nancy Guthrie investigation. What's the latest, and do you still believe she's alive?
It was taken at 2:36 a.m. That's 48 minutes after the kidnapped suspect was caught on camera at Nancy's front door. Savannah added, "Please be the one that brings her home. Tips can be anonymous. Reward can be paid in cash."
There's no precedent for how long it might take to actually get some answers. It is entirely possible that we will never have the answer.
Nick, but Nancy, did not have a subscription plan that stored full video history, which meant, initially, footage was gone. Until the FBI recovered still images from residual back-end data. That recovery marked the first major development in the case. A masked individual, dark clothing, gloves, at her front door. And then, silence. Nancy was not found inside the home. No signs of obvious forced entry were publicly detailed. No public suspect, just questions. And as days passed, speculation grew. But then something unexpected happened. The speculation turned inward. According to investigators, local, state, and federal agencies joined forces almost immediately. The FBI became involved.
With the broad outline of what happened, Nancy Guthrie disappears from her Tucson home.
The FBI now has a list. Between 40 and 60 specific individuals, photographs, and names.
Specific individuals were named. That intelligence is being cross-referenced against purchase data, surveillance records, and digital evidence.
On January 31st, Nancy Guthrie vanished from her home in the Catalina foothills of Tucson, Arizona.
Forensic teams processed the scene. Authorities allege multiple sources of DNA were discovered in and around the home. Though no confirmed matches have been announced publicly, investigators began forensic genetic genealogy testing. But genetic genealogy takes time, and in that waiting period, the public conversation grew louder because high-profile cases attract attention, and attention attracts theories. At first, theories focused on an unknown intruder, the masked man. The backpack described by officials, a 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack sold exclusively at Walmart, specific, trackable, potentially identifiable. But then came a pivot, not from police, from Facebook.
Point, it's clear that every effort is being made from family and law enforcement to get Nancy home. Number two, the former agent says he doesn't think this is a direct plea to kidnappers, which
feel like maybe they should care. We've all acknowledged there's a ransom note. It appears to me that the investigators aren't 100%.
We are continuing to follow all of the developments regarding the search for Nancy Guthrie, that search entering week 3.
The first major twist, the viral claim, on February 9th, 2026, a Facebook page called Lil Chase posted a dramatic headline. 10 minutes ago, police surround son-in-law's home. It claimed Tommaso Cioni was suddenly at the center of the investigation. It mentioned a back door mysteriously left open. It referenced traces of blood reportedly discovered, and it claimed detectives were no longer looking for an outsider. Those are powerful words. They imply a shift in direction.
DNA on the inside of that glove. When you wear these gloves, your hand is going to sweat.
Sheriff, first of all, are you being unfairly portrayed as being not working with the FBI or cooperating at all?
An Arizona news anchor who saw the possible Nancy Guthrie ransom note told CNN it was clear after a couple of sentences that it might not be a hoax.
Returned to Nancy Guthrie's home late in the day on Wednesday.
They imply suspicion, they imply guilt. But here's what's critical. According to fact checkers and available reporting at the time, there was no evidence police had surrounded Cioni's home, no confirmed blood discovery, no public statement naming him as a suspect, This wasn't a development in the investigation, it was a development in misinformation. And that distinction matters, because when a case is active, rumors can alter public perception faster than evidence can catch up.
This was not random crime by strangers. The Google Nest doorbell camera disconnected at 1:47 a.m.
Personally the one who knows where every single thing was found. Isn't it true that all the gummies, with the exception of the gummies that were found in the jacket in the closet?
The Guthrie family seems to be speculating that their mother could have passed. We know she has a heart condition. We know she needs medicine.
Deeper analysis. Why the son-in-law? When a case lacks answers, people look close to home. Statistically, many crimes involve someone known to the victim. That reality influences public suspicion, but suspicion is not evidence. And according to investigators, at the time of the viral post, no suspects had been publicly named. So why did the rumor focus on Tommaso Cioni? There are three possibilities: proximity to the victim, public visibility through family ties, emotional shock value.
In Florida versus the FBI lab in Quantico, what do you make of all of that? How significant is it if true?
Maybe, on those latex gloves, they'll blow them up, right? Okay, well, you just now...
Right now, I do want to take you out to some of the big stories that we are covering, and we do have the latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie. An FBI...
Accusing a family member generates clicks. It triggers outrage. It spreads faster. And in this case, the post used emotionally charged language, urgency, mystery, and dramatic claims, but a Google News search at the time returned no reports of a police blockade, no reputable outlets confirming the narrative, which raises another question. Where did it come from?
Enters a 24th day. Two law enforcement sources are telling NBC News that one of those doorbell camera images of the suspect...
I've seen two Tucson television stations here, none from the Phoenix area, and no networks that I can see as of yet.
She was supposed to co-host coverage of the 2026 Winter Olympics. Instead, she posted a video directed at whoever has her mother.
Investigators just revealed they recovered DNA that could be connected to Nancy Guthrie's abduction.
Second major reveal: the Viet spam connection. According to fact checkers, including Lead Stories, the Facebook page Lil Chase is controlled from Vietnam, part of what researchers have described as a spam network using AI-generated content to target American audiences. These pages often use sensational headlines, imply breaking news, encourage clicks with dramatic promises, monetize traffic, and they frequently target high-profile celebrity cases. Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, connected to a nationally recognized journalist, made the story ripe for exploitation. Here's the key detail.
Being compared to samples taken from associates of Nancy Guthrie. These photos courtesy of the New York Post.
And what the FBI will do is they'll start with the realm of the possible. How many of these backpacks were sold, when they were sold.
Case as the lead investigator. Do you have any updates on how that's going?
Well, they took it over originally. It was a local case originally, and
sent to some media outlets. There was conversations. I think I got the sense that maybe at least one of them might have been legitimate. We haven't heard much about that.
Facebook's transparency tools allow users to see where page managers are located, in this case, Vietnam, which suggests the post was not based on inside information, but rather engineered virality. And yet, the damage was done. Thousands shared it. Comment sections exploded. People demanded arrests. Without evidence, online speculation escalated quickly. Some questioned why police hadn't named suspects. Others interpreted silence as confirmation. A few began dissecting family dynamics, without proof. But investigators maintained publicly that no suspects had been identified. According to available reporting, Tommaso Cioni was not blockaded. No vehicles seized publicly. No official pivot toward family involvement announced.
We are getting some breaking news in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Michael Ruiz with Fox News Digital saying this.
The search for Nancy Guthrie, the FBI now preparing to turn the home back over to Savannah Guthrie and her family.
Half miles from Guthrie's home around the time she was taken.
It's not clear whether the image has any value, but the Sheriff's Department is urging homeowners to submit their home security footage. Orange barriers to enforce a no parking zone around the house and installed new security cameras. The FBI is now moving its command post from Tucson to Phoenix.
And yet, once an idea enters public consciousness, it lingers. There's a psychological effect known as illusory truth. Repeat a claim enough times, and people begin to accept it as possible. Even when it isn't supported by evidence, that's the quiet danger in high-profile investigations, because misinformation doesn't just distract, it redirects suspicion.
It's not. And to be honest, they probably are not 100% sure either way yet, so they're probably still working on it and through it, but have moved on to a lot other leads at this point.
Yeah, I love to invite him onto the show because, of course, he has that expertise that you can only get when you've worked in law enforcement, and particularly
really would not expect to be a victim of a crime like this. It's scary for a lot of people.
No delays. Move what? Why was money moved before the kidnappers even released proof of life?
Current status of the case. As of the latest public updates, Nancy Guthrie remains missing. No arrests have been announced. Authorities continue working forensic leads, including genetic genealogy testing. Investigators have not publicly named suspects or persons of interest. And the viral claim about the son-in-law has been widely debunked. But here's what remains intriguing. Misinformation often appears during moments of uncertainty, and uncertainty still defines this case. The masked individual seen in recovered images has not been publicly identified. The DNA results have not been publicly resolved. The timeline remains partially dependent on recovered still frames without timestamps. So while one narrative was false, the central mystery remains real. What happened to Nancy Guthrie between January 31st and February 1st?
Investigators were back at the Nancy Guthrie home today with the most visible activity we've seen in days.
Neighbor, and I hope you guys do help in the pursuit of the suspect. But yes, it is congested.
In the Nancy Guthrie case, may have been taken before she disappeared. Now take a look at that.
Liz, first of all, just thoughts on the video update we just heard there from Savannah, and remind us where the investigation stands right now.
Thought-provoking ending. An elderly woman disappears. A masked figure disables a camera. A family waits for answers. And somewhere online, strangers assign blame. The son-in-law's statement, or rather, the claim about it, marked a turning point. Not because it changed the investigation, but because it revealed something else. In the absence of clarity, stories rush in. Some are built on evidence, others are built on clicks. According to investigators, there is no confirmed blockade.
Well, a really disappointing development in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Sources telling CBS News the DNA that was collected at her Tucson home,
and worn by a masked individual seen on doorbell camera video, has DNA. It's currently undergoing forensic testing. And
to another challenging story that we have now been following for more than 2 weeks. This is the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
As the search for Nancy Guthrie enters into its third week, a source says that there is no leading theory on what led to her disappearance. Was it a burglary gone wrong?
No official declaration shifting suspicion inward, but the fact that so many believed it says something about the power of narrative. Until forensic results speak, until the masked figure is identified, until a verified timeline emerges. Nancy Guthrie's disappearance remains an open question, and in cases like this, the loudest voices aren't always the most accurate. Sometimes, the real turning point is recognizing which story isn't true, because in the search for Nancy Guthrie, facts still matter, and patience may reveal what speculation never could.